Welcome to Willoughby Field at the Langley Event Centre here in lovely Langley, British Columbia, Canada, in the Valley of British Columbia in the Lower Mainland. We're going to take in the Langara College women's team taking on Capilano U women's team here just shortly. But before we get to our starting 11s and kickoff, we welcome in Langara assistant coach, Mr. Jeremy Holland. Sir, thank you for joining us very quickly before the broadcast here. A 0-0 result against Douglas last time out, a positive result. What have you told the ladies to take from that result and put into this game here against Cap?
Well, we'll definitely take the point. Douglas had a great game yesterday, and we kind of shone. We had 10 girls stepping on the pitch for the first time, a lot of rookies out there, and today they could calm the emotions, walk on the pitch, and show what we actually have been doing this preseason. It's been a long preseason, and the girls are ready for one of our big rivals. Yeah,
what challenges do you think Cap pose you guys? Obviously a very good team themselves.
Well, they've got the experience that we lack at this moment with so many rookies on our team. Their midfield's strong, so we look to exploit their weight. They've got a little bit of pockets that we saw yesterday, a little bit of scouting. But if we can hit those pockets, we'll expose them out wide and see what happens.
You mentioned the emotions and a young kind of rookie team that you've been kind of talking about here in this pregame interview. What do you tell them? Not just to calm the emotions, but do you just give them very simple tasks to go about things? You don't want to cloud their minds with too much instruction, do you?
No. With so many new bodies, it's all about movement, all about the basics. If we play a simple game but also show a lot of heart on the defensive side, things will work for us. So.
Assistant coach Jeremy Holland, thank you so much for joining us pregame, and best of luck to your ladies tonight.
Okay, thank you so much.
Cheers. There's Jeremy Holland, the assistant coach of the Langara women, and we'll get to those starting 11s now, starting with Langara. In net, Alexis McCauley. The outfield, number 21, Ava Giovinazzo. Number 3, Quinnell Shanna. Number 2, Grace Jorgensen. Number 16, Alex Paul. Number 13, Janelle Toison Cabito. Number 4, Bella Johnston. Number 14, Marina Pashalidis. Number 23, Cassidy Kwan. Number 6, Kaylee Beaubien. And number 12, Stella Sikorsky. And the opposition, Capilano University, number 1 in net, Megan Fitchener. In the outfield, number 20, Maya Fraser. Number 15, Julia Payton. Number 14, Isabella Bolognese. Number 22, Sophie Pather. Number 21, Ainsley Hurtado. Number 19, Caitlin Chu. Number 9, Alana Dulong. Number 11, Maya Smith. Number 17, Caitlin Johnson. And number 2, Jessica Thaler. Capilano will be wearing the all-white strip with a little bit of dark blue and light blue trim on the shoulders. They will start the broadcast playing from left to right on your stream. Meanwhile, the Langara women in their classic familiar strip, jet black with some orange lettering and also some white shouldering and piping as well. They will play from right to left on your stream here today. As mentioned, at the Willoughby Field at the Langley Event Centre here in Langley, British Columbia, the Valley of the Lower Mainland. It's 24 degrees and partly cloudy, but I think most of those clouds are starting to disappear because it's feeling a little bit toasty, a little bit sunny, a little bit windy, though, it has to be said here. So we'll see how that affects playing conditions. As mentioned, the Langara women coming off a positive 0-0 result against staunch competition, Douglas. And we'll see if they can put their best foot forward here against a very experienced team, as assistant coach Jeremy Holland called them. We see him jogging down on the sideline now. It's a long hike down from the field level up to the broadcast booth. It feels like 4 stories. It's quite the labyrinth of stairs to get up here, but Jeremy Holland, I'm sure his calves are burning, but he'll be ready to go here as Langara will watch their rivals Capilano kick off, and we'll get things going here in Langley, BC. The men's game coming up at 2:30, an afternoon affair. Doubleheader against Cap as well. The Langara men will look to put their mark on that one. Cap gets started early. It's Maya Smith along the right wing, tries to play it infield, dispossessed early. Quinnell Shanna gets an early touch, and it'll be a throw in the way of the women in jet black, Langara. Lofty throw over the head of Stella Sikorsky. A little bit of head tennis in the middle of the park. It's eventually won back by Beaubien. She's going to go for a bit of a dribble. Does Beaubien tried to clip it forward for Sikorsky. Just a little bit out of her path, and Capilano will take the opportunity to clear their lines only as far as number 19, Caitlin Chu. Quinnell Shanna getting some early touches there. Another ball forward. This time Stella Sikorsky gets an excellent touch to bring it down. Capilano will win it back in the middle of the park now. Maya Smith. For number 21, Ainsley Hurtado. Back for Smith. Chu tries to put her foot on it, but it's a good clearance there by the last line of defense of Langara. Maya Smith, she's buzzing early here for Capilano down the right touchline. The ball breaks for Chu, I believe it is, making a run into the right portion of the area, but once again, a good clearance. I believe it was Ava Giovinazzo making the clearance. Langara have their numbers to the back of me, so forgive the broadcasters if I'm accidentally getting some numbers wrong. But an excellent broadcast vantage point here at Willoughby Field, of course, the home of Vancouver FC in the CPL. Haven't been to the stadium since they've added on all the extra seating and bleachers and whatnot. It certainly does fit the bill as a proper professional soccer stadium here in Canada, and the women are getting a chance to sample it out right now. Clearance, last line of defense, Capilano. It'll be a deep throw in for Langara, who are looking good early here. The Cornell Shanna. She's got a few options. She's just going to heave it right to the top of the air. I believe it was Stella Sikorsky had the ball just bounce over her foot as she looked to trap it. And now Capilano will have a chance to break forward up the far left touchline. It's Alana Dulong, who's dispossessed. Good play early here from Langara. Long raking cross from the right touchline. Stella Sikorsky tried to chest it into the path of, I believe it was Beaubien, but just couldn't find the target. Good tackle there by Cornell Shanna. Into the feet of Bella Johnston. Carries infield, does Johnston. Tries to clip a ball into the path of Stella Sikorsky. It comes off Sikorsky's face, but she stays with it. There'll be another throw in, this time the way of the women in white, Capilano U. Good chest down there by Chu. Coming together between, it was Cassidy Kwan and Caitlin Chu. Ball finds its way all the way back to Grace Jorgensen, and now keeper Alexis McCauley. Good press there by Capilano U. They've won the ball in the middle of the park. It was Isabella Bolognese who was charging forward there and went for a bit of a swashbuckling run. Foul there against Capilano U on the far left-hand side. First free kick of the game goes to the visiting team, and now Langara will have to defend a free kick. Into the 5th minute. Still 0-0 here at Willoughby Field at the Langley Event Center. Looks like it's going to be an in-swinger on the right foot, or will they play it short? No, it's pinged right to the heart of the area. Alexis McCauley comes out to claim it. It came off her chest. It looked like there may have been some contact, but I think the keeper might have got a bit lucky there. It bounced off her chest and she couldn't really corral it. Thankfully, no one in white could put the ball home, and the referee showed a bit of mercy there. Early warning signs from Capilano, as that was a dangerous bit of set-piece service that certainly caused a bit of confusion for Langara. They'll have to watch themselves on some of those set pieces. The broadcasters will have to watch themselves with some of the wind up here, as you hear papers flapping around on my microphone here. Ball breaks again for Capilano in the area. Right-footed shot. It's a stinger to the near post. It was hit well by Maya Smith, who has been the most adventurous of the Capilano women. It's an early corner kick. First of the match for Capilano. A good diving left palm save, though, by Alexis McCauley, who didn't want to take any chances there. It looked like that low, hard shot might just tuck in that near corner, and she palmed it away for a corner kick. It'll be a in-swinger on the right foot from Julia Payton. She's wearing the captain's armband, bright orange. This one hit on a frozen rope again. Alexis McCauley can't clutch it and claim it. It comes off a body. A Capilano body it is, and it will be a goal, an early goal in the 6th minute. Just waiting for the player to turn around so we can see the number. Looks like it may have been a defender, Maya Fraser, if I'm getting it right. The number 20 with the blonde ponytail Johnny on the spot at the back post. Alexis McCauley sees this stinger of a cross fly through her mitts. And right there to smash home the loose ball was Maya Fraser. We will get confirmation on that, but from the broadcaster's vantage point, that certainly looked to be the goal scorer. And now the Langara women, after a very positive start, have a bit of an uphill climb. Sophie Pather with a right-footed clearance high up into the air. Gave her midfield a bit to deal with. But they've won it back, and it looks like Capilano, after some early nerves, have really settled into this one. Bolognese to Maya Smith. Tries to skip around the tackle of Shanna. Shanna gets more of the player than the ball, and the referee says that'll be a foul just inside the Langara half. Another Capilano free kick. This one hit long and hard by the number 15, Julia Payton, who was actually on the corner kick service for the last goal. It caused some trouble again as the Langara women just couldn't deal with it. It took a hop, and thankfully for keeper Alexis Fraser, the striker, I believe it was Caitlin Chu. I could be mistaken, though. Just couldn't reel it in. Beg your pardon, it was actually Jessica Thaler on the far side who almost got to that one, the number 2. Fraser for Hurtado. Out to the left wing. Return ball for Hurtado. She's going to try and make up the run. It's a good clearance, though, from the number 21, Ava Giovinazzo of Langara. Another throw-in again for Capilano U. Up the left touchline, it's helped on into the feet. A long raking shot. A little bit hopeful from 40 yards out. It takes a harmless hop on the 6-yard line, and Alexis McCauley, the goalkeeper in orange for Langara, will just wait to clutch it and claim it. But Capilano are growing more and more confident here as Langara just backed off them ever so slightly after a very good start from Langara. They had a good bit of energy, and they're looking to feed Stella Sikorsky, their number 12, up top early. The attack has just broken down ever so slightly for the Falcons. Ball to the right wing. I believe it's for Alex Paul to chase. She just couldn't get there ahead of the number 14, Isabella Bolognese. Backheel attempt there from the number 9, Dulong and Capilano. Feathered ball forward. I believe it was Kaylee Beaubien who tried to get it to Sikorsky. It was just through a sea of legs, though, and it was picked off. Good battle there again between Maya Smith, the number 11 for Cap, and the number 3 for Langara, Quinelle Shanna. Loop ball over the top for Grace Jorgensen to try and pick off the foot of Caitlin Chu. Deep throw in for Capilano, I beg your pardon. Clearance from Shanna up the park. Looking for Toison Cabido. Stella Sikorsky, I should say, dropping deep to get on the ball. And she has won it back for her squad. Into the path of Bella Johnston, but Johnston just wasn't expecting the pass. It clips off their heels, and unfortunately Langara, after a decent little spell of possession there and some well strung together passes, have given it away through an unforced error, and Cap have the ball back. Ball infield from Maya Smith is cut out by Beaubien, who has put her head down and just gone for a run here. She's going to put it into the path of Stella Sikorsky. Can Sikorsky get there? She can't. And, ooh, she clobbers the goalkeeper as a result. Unfortunately, she couldn't put on the brakes in time. And Megan Thitchner got the worst of that exchange. I think that will be a yellow card for Stella Sikorsky, who definitely plowed over the goalkeeper there, who's in some discomfort. Best chance of the game, though, so far from Langara, and had that ball just had a little bit more, just held up a little bit more for Sikorsky, who need to kind of make a diagonal run to get to it. It might have been a serious effort on net. Brave goalkeeping, though, from Megan Thitchner, who just had eyes for the ball and didn't see Sikorsky coming and got absolutely walloped for her troubles. She's going to take a little sip of water here and a bit of a breather. Can't say I blame her. And they'll tack on some added time to the end of this first half here as Megan Thitchner for Capilano University gets her bearings. Just doing a little bit of a mild concussion test. Doesn't look like there was anything standing out to the referee that would signal that she had seriously had her bell rung, but she looks like she's good to go, and play will continue here in the 13th minute. If you're just joining us, Capilano University opening the scoring off a corner kick. The goal to number 20, Maya Fraser, the defender. And it was actually Julia Payton from the corner kick who set that one up, so good play early from Capilano, who have taken their one chance that they've had. They've had a couple half chances since then, but that was their one clear-cut chance, and it ended up in the back of the net. Shanna now hounded by Maya Smith. She's going to carry to her left foot and play it out. She was under some duress, maybe tried to play it off the shins of Smith there. It'll be a throw-in for Capilano. Long throw in from Sophie Pather into the penalty area, headed clear. Toison Cabito will force the issue. Maya Smith wins it back, though, for Cap. Great cross. It's found its way all the way to the back post. I believe it's Bolognese. She's trying to tee up for a shot. Right-footed. It's palmed away by Alexis McCauley. It'll be another corner kick for Cap. This time from the far left-hand side by the clubhouse and the concession, which I think I will be conveniently visiting at halftime if given a little bit of time. But we're talking about the action right here, right now, and it was a fantastic effort. It was actually Alana Dulong, I beg your pardon, not Bolognese, who had that right-footed blast from just inside the penalty area. Corner kick from the far left-hand side now for Capilano. It'll be a right-footed in-swinger. That one didn't find its intended target. They were trying to just play it into the 6-yard box, similar to what they did in that opening goal, but this one didn't have enough swing on it, and it went in and straight out. And thankfully, Langara will be happy they didn't have to defend that one, because it was some kind of sting, and it looked like it was going to cause some real havoc with all those bodies in the box. Langara will try and play their way out from the back, but just a miscommunication there, and the women in white, Capilano, will take advantage of it. There's a sea of legs on that far right touchline. Now some substitutes warming up for Capilano just down below us. The wind just picking up ever so slightly here. As mentioned, 24 degrees, partly cloudy, but mostly sunny, like very partly cloudy. But just a slightest little bit of wind, which I don't mind. Otherwise, it would be a very hot affair here at Willoughby Park. Offside there on Caitlin Chu, the number 19, who looked like she was just hanging off the last line of defense, poaching for a goal there, and almost got what she was waiting for, but was just a hair offside. Langara will definitely have to watch that. It's been a couple times now where the Capilano women have almost broke that offside trap. Jorgensen back to McCauley. She'll launch it out to the right touchline. It's flicked on. into the path of Marina Pashalidis. She tries to dribble it up the right touchline. Langara will win a throw-in right on the halfway line on the far touchline. Throw-in taken into Sikorsky. It looked like it hit a hand. The referee, I think, is going to show a bit of mercy there. Alex Paul. And now Grace Jorgensen, number 2. All the way back to Alexis McCauley. McCauley will try and play it to the feet of Quinnell Shanna. Great win there by Shanna. Takes it off the feet of Maya Smith. Plays it forward for Bella Johnson. Great clip ball over the top for Stella Sikorsky. She's going to have a look here. Sikorsky, my goodness. Oh, just over the crossbar. Fantastic effort there from the number 12, who the ball just hopped up for her just right, and she put the laces through it. Fantastic effort there. Best of the game here from Langara. And it's a right-footed rocket from Sikorsky. It just wouldn't dip under the crossbar there. It looked like it had Megan Thitchner scrambling in the Capilano net. Great play there from the Falcons, who are enjoying their best spell of the match now after conceding the opener. Almost dazzled the broadcaster here. I thought that one was definitely tucking under the crossbar, and then it just rippled a bit of mesh on the top of the net for enough of an optical illusion. I think it had a couple fans off their seats as well. Great effort from Sikorsky, who's been probably alongside Beau Bien and Quinnell Shanna on the back line, the busiest of the players for Langara in these early stages of the first half, now in the 18th minute. As we teased earlier in the broadcast, we will have the men's game between Capilano and Langara. That one will come up at 2:30. Hoping to be joined by Mark Rizzardo, the men's coach, hopefully at halftime of this game. And of course, post-game for both matches will effort coaches, players, what have you, to get immediate reaction from the result here. Great dribbling run from the midfield of Capilano. I believe it was, I want to say Ainsley Hurtado, but I could be mistaken. Nevertheless, it was a marauding run, a slaloming run. It was indeed Ainsley Hurtado. Her final pass just let her down, though. Stella Sikorsky wins the ball in the middle of the park against Maya Fraser, but Maya Fraser gets the better of her on the second exchange. Wins the ball back for Capilano. Maya Smith now being hounded by Bella Johnston. Forces her into an early cross. That one's dealt with by Ava Giovinazzo. A little argy-bargy on the back there. I believe it was Cassidy Kwan, who was just a little bit too robust in the tackle there, and it'll be a free kick halfway up the Langara half for Capilano. Everybody in the penalty box for this one. Langara have only left Sikorsky high, and they've left 2 defenders back, 3 defenders, I beg your pardon, for Capilano. It's over the head of the last line of defense, and it's actually offside. Maya Smith looked like she had just nipped in to poke the ball home as it flew out of the hands of Alexis McCauley again. But it was adjudged to have been offside. There's been a couple times today where Capilano have had glorious chances, but they've just been a hair offside. And Langara have definitely struggled when defending set-piece situations. That one was straight up Main Street, but the goal came from a corner, and other previous chances have come from set-piece corners, from the set-piece situations from the wings, I should say. We're now going to have a substitution for Langara. Just wait to see who's exiting the park here. Number 20, Amber Wells, will come on. And it looks like number 13, Janelle Toison Cabito, will come off. So Amber Wells now makes her way into this one for Langara, who are just looking to snug things up ever so slightly. They haven't been bad by any stretch of the imagination, have Langara, but they're just missing a little bit of the final touch in the midfield just to hold on to the ball for a little bit longer, as Capilano have enjoyed bigger stretches with the ball at their feet and probably have outchanced Langara, maybe 4-2 on this broadcaster's kind of mental tally. And I have been wrong again, so don't crucify me, broadcasting audience, but you would definitely tip your cap to Capilano as far as chances created so far early in this first half. Foul just outside the center dot. Only one yellow card to speak of so far in this encounter, and it was Stella Sikorsky for barging over the goalkeeper on a through ball opportunity. One of Langara's 2 chances, both coming from Sikorsky. Headed forward by Jorgensen. Amber Wells gets her first touch. She'll blast it up the middle of the park, and that'll work just fine for Langara as it takes a ricochet off the defender, Julia Payton, and they'll get a throw in up the far side, just inside their own half. 1-0 for Capilano off the strength of a Maya Fraser corner kick goal. Amber Wells just controls the ball there, perhaps brought on just to maintain a little bit more possession. Cornell Shanna left that one fashionably late. It looked like she was just waiting too long for the ball to get to her, but just at the last second stepped in front of her attacking player and clipped around her, was dragged back. Clever play by Shanna, who's been impressive here early in this first half despite the back line conceding early. Good win down there by Beaubien, who a little bit of obstruction, a little bit of a pick there if we're being honest, but she gets away with it. Beaubien now, right-footed shot. It's a blast right into the waiting arms of the keeper. She had to be tidy with that clutch, did Megan Fitchner in the Capilano goal, because if she dropped it, she had Stella Sikorsky right on her doorstep waiting to poke home the rebound. Good play there by Langara, though, to press the issue and really make the Capilano defenders defend. Here comes Capilano now. Jessica Thaler looking for Chu. Thaler's trying to get the ball through again, not to Chu, I beg your pardon. Maya Smith, now for Chu. Can she get in across? Chu, it's a robust tackle, but a very clean tackle, and you love to see it from Grace Jorgensen, who was taking no prisoners there. All ball, and it'll be a deep throw-in, if not a corner kick. I believe it was a deep throw-in. But the first real meaty challenge of the game comes off the foot of number 2, Grace Jorgensen. It will be a corner kick. Again, Julia Payton, who we've seen early in this one, a couple samples. She can really smash it straight line on a frozen rope, and it is pinging around and causing Langara's defense all sorts of problems. Here it comes again. Frozen rope to the top of the area. This time it's headed clear by Grace Jorgensen. Well done by the number 2 in the middle of defense for Langara, as Payton had hit another one of her signature crosses. Langara are going to try and work up their lines here, but good possession and playing around the lines from Capilano. Cassidy Kwan, though, doing the hard work, the real grunt work. Cassidy Kwan, excellent up the right-hand side, wins the ball back for Langara on the throw-in. Hoofed into the middle of the park by Isabella Bolognese. It takes a couple baubles. Looked like it might have been one down by Caitlin Chu. It's played clear by Shanna. Backheel attempt there from Sophie Pather. But Bella Johnston muscled her off of it, kept it alive for Langara. Stella Sikorsky now thought about having a rip there. You could see it, and it almost paid off in a goal the first time she tried it. She thought, why not a second time? But the defense just pressed her far enough outside the area. Great cross into the penalty box now. This time, no fuss, no much for Megan Fitchner. She rises high with one knee up, just for protection, of course. And it's an easy one for her after an excellent cross, it has to be said, from the far right touchline of Langara. It was hit with some kind of swerve and some kind of venom, too. It looked like it was going to cause real troubles, but Megan Fitchner was brave to fly off her line for that one, and it was just what the doctor ordered for the Capilano defenders. Chu, dispossessed there by Jorgensen. Pather, now for Sikorsky, a bit of a heavy touch, but she does get it back, plays it into the path of, the attempted path anyways, of Marina Pashalides. Shanna wins the ball back against Maya Smith. It's a good bit of defending from Shanna, who rides the tackle as well. Maya Smith wasn't letting her get away with that one easy. It's easily been the best battle to watch here so far in this one. Jorgensen and Chu has also been very good as well. But it just so happens that Shanna and Maya Smith are going to war right down below me, so I'm getting a pretty good look at it, and it's tooth and nail, let me tell you. You love to see it in the game of soccer. Nothing dirty, of course, just good, clean, honest, rugged defending and attacking. Shanna wins the ball down there from Chu. Played up the park from Jorgensen. Sikorsky unfortunately was offside. She just couldn't bring her run back onside in time, and it's a shame as Jorgensen had actually picked out a decent little pass, and it looked like it might cause some problems for the defense in white and blue trim. And you hear the coach of Capilano, Dennis Kindle, urging his players to press, as Langara have been a little bit slow playing out of the back, and they have allowed some wide open spaces, and you could see the likes of Caitlin Johnson and Jessica Thaler and Caitlin Chu coming to life there as their coach urged them forward. But Langara were on top of the danger as well and played their way out of trouble, so both squads still kind of in the feeling out process, but it's been a good game to watch early here. Pashalides, tried to feather it forward for Sikorsky. Just a few inches off, left-footed shot. There was a stinger from, I believe, Alex Paul, who put in that earlier great cross from the right wing. This time she tried her luck left-footed from some kind of distance. Perhaps was looking for someone to put a touch to it. Goes right into the clutches of Capilano, and Langara, who, as mentioned, started great and then kind of fell into a bit of a lull, which resulted in the Capilano goal. They've had some better looks here recently, and they're looking to hold on to the ball a bit better in the middle of the park. Here comes Capilano, though, just outside the penalty box. Right-footed shot. It's got some sting on it, and it took that awkward hop on the 6-yard line, but Alexis McCauley didn't take any chances, just kind of palms it down to herself, clutches and claims it, and walks it up to her 18-yard line as we approach the 30-minute mark of this encounter. Still 1-0 for Capilano. The goal scorer, number 20, Maya Fraser, in defense for the women in white. Great play there by Sikorsky to win the ball back. Kwan just couldn't reel in the touch off her back heel. Langara do get it back, though. Jorgensen to the right touchline, looking for Bella Johnston. Here comes Caitlin Chu, trying to get around the outside of Jorgensen. Thought about a right-footed shot. Will she lay it off for Maya Smith? She does. Right-footed cross, dealt with by Gia Venazzo. Good bit of defending there from Langara. They made that one look tidy. Bella Johnson tries to hook one over the top for Stella Sikorsky to chase, but Sikorsky came short. And it made easy work for Julia Payton, who just had to pass it back to the keeper, Thitchner. Ooh, robust tackle there from Cassidy Kwan, who has not shied away from the challenge. Plays a 1-2 with Bella Johnston. Can't get past Sophie Pather, though, who makes herself big. It will be a deep throw-in, though, for the women in black with a little bit of orange trim and some white piping and shoulder patches as well. Be Quinnell Shanna. Over the top of everybody in the Capilano defense for Stella Sikorsky. She tries to play a looped right-footed cross into the path of Pashalides. Doesn't come off. Sikorsky tries to get another touch here. As there were 6 players who just couldn't get that ball down. It was just floating in the air forever. Just wouldn't come down for anybody. Eventually, Cassidy Kwan puts a foot on it. Spreads it wide right. Alex Paul, another great right-footed cross. The keeper deals with it, but it comes off the defender, and it's a scramble of legs. Amber Wells, number 20. Langara cooking at the moment. Cassidy Kwan, left-footed shot, falls into the path of Pashalides, who plays it off the post. It's offside nonetheless, though. Langara enjoying their best spell of the game by far. Definitely could have had a couple chances there. It was just bobbling in and around the area. No one could really get a clean hit to it. Positive stuff, though. It comes off the post. It was offside, but as mentioned, the Langara women coming to life here around the 31st minute mark of a 1-0 affair here at Willoughby. A couple subs. Bella Johnson will come off now, as will Quinnell Shanna. Coming on are Vienna Timothy. and Chase Stoddard. Interesting substitutions as well, because perhaps down to maybe not fatigue or fitness, but I felt Bella Johnson and Quinnell Shannon were having a real good go right there at that particular spell in time. They were really cooking up the left touchline. You had Beaubien and Cassidy Kwan and Sikorsky, Pashalides. They all seemed to be kind of gelling really good there the last couple of minutes. So an interesting swap from the Langara bench. They'll welcome in, as mentioned, number 7, Vienna Timothy and Chase Stoddard. Clearance from Jorgensen. Pather clips it into the midfield. Cassidy Kwan wins the header. Amber Wells in the vicinity as well. Ainsley Hurtado now for Capilano. Will try and loop one over for the number 17, Caitlin Johnson to chase. The blonde forward for Capilano. Giovinazzo tried to play it up the park for Amber Wells, but it was Hurtado who was right on top of it and got to it first. Almost a half chance anyways for Capilano, who are looking to put their stamp back on this one after playing a bit of rope-a-dope in the last 5 minutes to a potent Langara attack. It'll be a throw-in for the Falcons. Ooh, clever ball into the area, but it's well cut out. I want to say it was Giovinazzo again, who between her and Jorgensen have been very tidy in defense. It was Giovinazzo. Excellent work there, as that ball, had she not cut it out, was going right to an unmarked, I believe it was Caitlin Johnson. It was last ditch, desperate defending, but it paid off in the end, and that's all that matters. She kept the ball out of the net. Another dangerous chance here, and Jorgensen looks like she might be in a bit of trouble here with Maya Smith. Right-footed shot from Smith. It carries just wide of the far right post. She hit it with the incept, so it always was kind of bending away from that far right post, but it was hit with some kind of venom, and from this angle, it definitely had keeper Alexis McCauley scrambling. Good answering of the bell there from Capilano, who, as mentioned, were on the ropes there a bit the last 5 minutes, with Langara coming to life in the attack. Ooh, good play there. Isabella Bolognese, who you wouldn't call a stay-at-home defender. She's known for going for a couple of those runs. We've seen it 2 or 3 times here in the first half. She definitely picks her spot. She's not doing it all the time, but when she gets a head full of steam, she's not afraid to carry forward and try and create something herself coming out of the back. Amber Wells now, who has just parked herself just in front of the back line of the Langara women's defense, just to kind of clean up that midfield, keep possession, and almost be a pivot to find open players, open spaces, and just be a little bit more of a link and a little bit more of glue between the midfield and defense, as there's a little bit of a spell there between maybe the opening 5 minutes and when they found their life when Amber Wells came back on, where it was just being pinged from the defense straight over the midfield looking for Stella Sikorsky, and Sikorsky was valiantly fighting the battle, but the inclusion of Amber Wells here has just kind of linked up all departments of this Langara women's soccer squad. Chu now almost dispossessed there by Alex Paul, who switched sides now. She was playing on the right-hand side, but now playing on the left. Cross into the area, and it's in the back of the net. It looked like it was a cross looping into the back post. It's Maya Smith. It handcuffs Alexis McCauley and catches into that side meshing. It's unfortunate for the goalkeeper there, and you can see the defense was a bit flummoxed by it for Langara, as they thought that one might just soar out, but it held up in the air just enough to pop into the back of the net, and it's a 2-goal lead for Capilano, who probably do have Langara to chances so far in this first half, but you feel it's a bit harsh on Langara, who have had their chances as well off the foot of Sikorsky, and they were really finding some rhythm in the final third. It's a bit cruel to them, and that can be the game of soccer sometimes, but Now the Langara women definitely have an uphill climb. Down 2 markers with just under an hour to play. And you feel the coach, Alvin Prasad and Jeremy Holland, who joined us here, the assistant coach in the pre-match, they may just want to get into the halftime locker room just down 2-0. That being said, 1 goal back would be awful helpful. They don't want to press their luck, though, as being down 3-0 might be a death knell as well, so they have to be quite delicate with this final 10 minutes of this first half. Long, stinging effort from Cassidy Kwan. It took a bit of a hop. It was a daisy cutter, and it did just enough to force Megan Fitchner into a claim, diving down onto her chest to get that one. And you feel that might be the way home from Langara, is just let's get some shots on net. Let's see if we can get some rebounds. Let's really force this defense to defend, and let's really force this goalkeeper to keep goal. Not to say that they've taken it easy on them so far, but they may have to be a bit more pragmatic, a bit more direct, and there's probably not too much time for playing it pretty. Long ball forward for Sikorsky. An excellent weighted ball for Sikorsky. She just couldn't take it off the foot of Julia Payton, who defended that one perfectly. Langara will get the ball back through Pashalidis and now Beaubien. Beaubien in a heck of a battle up that touchline with Ainsley Hurtado, and it's good defending by Hurtado, who forces it off the Falcon for the last touch. Capilano get the ball back from the throw-in. It looks like Langara don't just want to meekly go into the halftime locker room down 2-0. They definitely want to try and get one back here, as you saw from that last little spell of play. They're being quite direct now. If you don't hear the broadcaster talking for the next 30 seconds, because I'm actually fighting a hornet up in the broadcast booth, but once he goes away, full steam ahead. Okay, he's gone. Back to action here. Langara, great spread of play there from Amber Wells. Finds the substitute, Vienna Timothy. Cuts back onto her right foot. Has a bit of time to carry, does Timothy. Cuts back to her left foot, pokes it infield. Cassidy Kwan thought about a shot into the path of Pashalidis. Falls for Amber Wells. Left-footed shot. Can she conjure up one? She does, but it just flies wide of the right post. It had some kind of loft and some kind of bend, but it just needed a bit more sting and needed a bit more mustard behind it. As the technique was right, it was just hit with a little bit too much scoop, and it didn't really trouble Megan Fitchner, I beg your pardon, as much as it probably should have. Good effort, though, from Amber Wells, though, especially on the left foot. Ball infield now. Beaubien, left-footed. Right-footed shot now! Has the keeper scrambling. And it looked like it might tuck in that right post, but Megan Fitchner, who's really getting her money's worth out of those keeper's mitts in the last 5 minutes or so. Langara are firing from all angles, and I can't say I disapprove of that game plan. They're making the keeper work for it here, and it's at least keeping the ball in the opposition end. Sometimes the best defense is a good attack, and Langara are trying to put that theory to practice right now with just, 6 minutes, maybe a bit of added time here in this first half. As mentioned, the location for today's doubleheader, women's and men's. Langara taking on Capilano right here at Willoughby Field, 200th Street at the Langley Event Center, the home of the Vancouver Bandits basketball team, Vancouver FC, CPL team, and of course the Vancouver Giants, who play in the WHL or in the ice hockey arena just next door. And of course, plenty of basketball courts, tennis courts. It's a real hub for sport in Langley, right here in the valley of the Lower Mainland. So you like to see all comers gracing the pitch here at Willoughby Field, and the ladies have put on a fine show early here, 40 minutes in, 2-0, and could probably be even more. Langara could definitely have a couple. Capilano could probably have a couple. In fact, they did have another one. It was brought back on offside for Maya Smith. She could have 2. But as it stands, just 2-0 for the visiting team in white. Deep throw-in now. Not deep throw-in, halfway up the half throw-in for Langara. Beaubien. Chase Stoddard up the right touchline. Wriggles her way out of trouble. Blasts one into the path of Cassidy Kwan, who eventually gets a hold of it. Back into the path of Alex Paul now. Right-footed shot from Alex Paul, who's fancying her luck from 35-40 yards. was an easy clutch and claim for Megan Fitchner. But Alex Paul definitely has a right foot to behold. She's put in a few really good swung-in crosses. She's definitely not afraid to try her luck from distance. She's been excellent. Has Alex Paul. She just needs someone on the end of those crosses or perhaps rebounds to tuck the ball home. Langara have done everything but get the ball in the back of the net now. Probably the best chance coming off the foot of Stella Sikorsky. A volley, a half volley from just outside the penalty box that clipped the crossbar and rolled onto the meshing of the top net. Here comes Alex Paul, right-footed again. This one just hangs to the top of the area, perhaps can get a bit of help. It is helped on by, I want to say it was Pashalides. But then it was cleared by Dulong. And now another chance for a cross. This one to the top of the area, headed clear by Julia Payton, number 15. Ainsley Hurtado, who's definitely been one of the boiler room players for Capilano. She's done a lot of the dirty work. She's done a lot of the pivoting and a lot of the getting beat up in the midfield to keep plays alive. Number 21, Ainsley Hurtado for Capilano. She's in the mix of a sea of black shirts right now as Capilano have dropped very deep here. They definitely sense danger from Langara with 3+ added time left in this first half. Clip ball over the top for Pashalides. Onside is Pashalides. Can she get in a cross? It'll be a goal kick. Pashalides just couldn't get to the outside of Isabella Bolognese. Good rugged defending there from the number 14 on the left-hand side of the Capilano defense. And Megan Fitchner, the keeper in bright highlighter pink, will have a chance to play it out. She's been going to the right touchline most of her clearances. That one's knotted on very tidily by Sophie Pather, and Capilano will try and get some attack going here with Maya Smith. Infield for Jessica Thaler. Into the path of Dulong. Great 1-2 for Caitlin Johnston. Great reading of that scenario by Alexis McCauley, though, as it was a triangle passing pattern worked to perfection by Capilano, but McCauley just got her run off her line in the nick of time, or Caitlin Johnston might have been able to clip it over the prone keeper or even had a run on the keeper or perhaps just have a free shot on net, but Alexis McCauley was having none of that and used her big frame to stretch out and peel it off the foot of the number 17 from Capilano and perhaps orchestrate an attack going forward here for Langara. Stella Sikorsky's on her bike to try and get to the end of that one, and she at least wins the deep throw in, so no lack of effort there from the number 12. And if Langara can get some bodies forward here and perhaps a deep throw, long throw, I should say, this could be a serious chance for them. 1 minute plus added time to go here in the first half. Cross into the area, right-footed. Chested down, Beaubien just over the top of the net. It's so unfortunate. It was teed up on a plate by Vienna Timothy, the substitute. Beaubien still had a bit of work to do. It was kind of bobbling, and she had to run onto it and almost half volley it. And it was a bit of work to keep it down, and she just puts it over the crossbar. Very similar to how the effort from Sikorsky ended up earlier in the half. Great spell of play, though, from Langara, who will just not go away with a little bit more luck and perhaps a little bit more polish on that finishing touch. They could at least have one goal here early in the half. Coming together there between Chu and I believe it was Amber Wells. It was. Both players are good to go, though. Big throw from Sophie Pather. Jorgensen will just stoop down to head it out into touch, and it will be a throw-in. Didn't see how much added time they have tacked on here, but we are at the 45, so hopefully the referee's sundial is working here. I can't imagine too much added time as there weren't a ton of stoppages, no real injuries, a couple substitutions perhaps, but Pashalides going for a run. She's boxed out by 3 white shirts. She's got Dulong hanging off of her back, but does win a throw-in just inside the half. And Langara need to conjure up something late. If they could get a goal going into the locker room, that would certainly boost their spirits. Good play there. Cross into the area. No one there at the top of the box, though. It was Vienna Timothy who was the closest. And even she would have been hard-pressed to get there. It was raked in with some kind of pace, and there is the referee's halftime whistle after the first half here at Willoughby Field at the Langley Event Center in Langley, BC. Capilano University in a commanding lead, 2-0. Goals from Maya Smith, and of course the opener from Mia Fraser, I should say. Good efforts, though, from the Langara women as well. Sikorsky had her chances. Bo Bien had a late chance there. Pashalides has looked busy. So has Alex Paul, Bella Johnson, Quinnell Shannon. Some great defending by Grace Jorgensen and Ava Giovinazzo as well. Unfortunately, it just hasn't been their day as far as the rub of the green. And any chance that Capilano has gotten has gone in the back of the net. So Langara definitely have their work cut out for them. 2-0 is the score here. We'll take a very quick halftime break, and we will come back with the second half, and of course remind you that we do have the men's match coming up between Capilano and Langara. That one kicks off at 2:30. We will have post-game interviews following this one, the men's match, and also a pre-game interview before the men's match as well. Once again, 2-0 for Cap as they look to put it to bed, as they say in the second half. 14 minutes and a half away. We'll see what Langara can do to conjure up. This is your halftime break. Go enjoy some tea, go enjoy some cookies, some orange juice, what have you, and we'll see you again in a couple minutes' time. Fans, welcome back to Langley, BC. Willoughby Field at the Langley Event Center, to be specific, as we get ready for second half of the Langara College women taking on the Capilano University women. The score 2-0 for Capilano. The goals from Maya Fraser. But Langara definitely had their chances. Langara playing in all black with a little bit of orange and white trim and piping, whereas Capilano are playing in all white with a little bit of blue shoulder piping and trimming. And it might be an early chance here early for Capilano. Can they reel it in? No, it's actually well defended on the far side by Alex Paul. It'll be a deep throw in the way of Langara. I'll let you know if there was any substitutions at halftime. It looks like a few players have come back into the fray. But it wasn't exactly as one-sided as a 2-0 scoreline would lead you to believe if you're just joining us here in the second half. Capilano certainly had their chances off the feet of Kaylee Beaubien and Stella Sikorsky, who's probably the busier of the starting 11 for Langara. So they definitely had their chances. Unfortunately for them, Capilano very clinical with the chances they did get. They also had one brought back on an offside as well, so you could argue it could be 3-0. But Langara definitely have a lot of work to do here in the second half. They just have to pick up where kind of they left off in that first half. They were creating chances and they were definitely buzzing. They just need to find that final touch and just carve themselves out a real crystal clear opening, which Capilano has done at least on 2 occasions. Ball played into the middle of the park for Cap, one of their substitutes, Alessia Bellotti, the number 12. Looks like Quinnell Shanna has also come back into the park for Langara, the number 3 at right back, who for my money probably the best tail of the tape in the first half for the women in black. Fraser, dispossessed. Bella Johnston plays it into the pass to Sikorsky, who had to get herself back onside, but as she was skipping herself back into an onside position, just allowed the defender to cut out the passing lane there. So a little bit fortuitous and a little bit unfortunate for Langara. Ball played into Alessia Bellotti. Great dribbling there from Bellotti to get in past Amber Wells. Forward for Taylor Melnick, also a substitute for Capilano, the number 18. Great play from Dulong on the far right-hand side. Skips past the defender. Cleared by Jorgensen. Excellent defending by Jorgensen, the number 2 for Langara. The weather update. The heat has just dipped down ever so slightly, but so has the wind as well. So it's almost become like the perfect afternoon for soccer. Before it was a little bit too hot and a little bit too windy. Now it's just right. It's just right. And we'll see if that gives a little bit more wind in the sails of Langara, who probably weren't sweating buckets out there by any stretch of the imagination. It wasn't that hot, but Shanna. Ball right up the right channel. Cassidy Kwan will receive the rebound and clip it right back into the path of Bella Johnson, who, with number 5, Aisha Fraser, a substitute for Capilano, just coming in. So we have a couple Frasers on the Capilano side, the number 20 and the number 5. Offside there for Bella Johnston, who had actually gotten herself into a really good position there. Be a free kick just inside the left channel, the defensive left channel for Capilano. Clears the entire midfield. It looked like it may have hit a hand there, but it's one down. Maya Smith, one of the goal scorers. Good play infield there. Kai Belbin. Another substitute for Capilano, who have swapped out quite a few players as Coach Dennis Kindle, who at halftime was saying, you know, let's work for each other. Let's keep working. Let's not just be happy with 2-0. Take some pride in keeping the 0, he said. So he has made some swaps, but he obviously is expecting the very same from the 11 that he marched out to put a chokehold on a 2-0 lead. We'll see if they can pick up where their teammates left off. Good ball there. Attempted ball anyways from Ainsley Hurtado. Just a little bit too far ahead of Alana Dulong. The sun just poking out again. As you see the turf just become a bit of a brighter green there as it's come from underneath the cloud. Shanna pressed. Forced to play it out into touch though. That was a good press there from Kai Belbin, who's got some kind of energy. She's going into every challenge, and I'm sure Shanna won't back away from that whatsoever. She's won the ball back again as Shanna. She smashes over Maya Smith as well. Ball forward looking for Stella Sikorsky. She just couldn't control it. Didn't really have a ton of options to give it to had she been able to wriggle it. She had a sea of white shirts around her. Bella Johnston dispossessed by Aisha Fraser. Aisha wins a header, does the substitute. She's battling it out with Sikorsky now. Sikorsky just got too involved in the battle and her balance took her away from the ball. It's won back by Bella Johnson, who threw it in a bit early. I don't know that the number 8 for Langara, substitute Ariana Chowdhury, was ready for it there. Kwan works a 1-2 with Johnson. Giovinazzo going for a bit of a dribble here, looking for options. Plays it forward. Vienna Timothy, I beg your pardon, also heads it on. Chowdhury just can't win the battle there against Hurtado. Good play by Wells. This game has just picked up in pace now. The midfield has really become a cauldron. Attempted cross there by Bella Johnson. Almost wins the ball back against Maya Smith. Now Quinnell Shanna's put on a bit of a pinch and she's got out of position. Good defending there by Jorgensen, who realized that she didn't have a ton of numbers to work with as far as her backline and just hoofed the ball clear, because if Capilano got the hold of the ball there just in front of the last two players, I want to say it was Giovinazzo and Jorgensen, they were done for numbers. It was 5-2, so good clearance there by Jorgensen to prevent a potentially lethal counterattack. Julia Payton. Good ball up the center of the park. Belbin tries to play it to the right wing for Dulong to chase, but she couldn't get there. Good defense by Alex Paul. Jorgensen plays it to the left touchline. She was threading the needle there. It would have been a tough ask for Vienna Timothy to get to that ball. It flies out for a throw-in right on the halfway line on the far right touchline. Still 2-0 for Capilano University. The goals by number 20, Fraser, and number 11, Maya Smith. Ooh, that ball was left short. Vienna Timothy has a chance to run on net. She has the overlapping run to Sikorsky. She's going to go for a rip. It's right at the keeper. It was hit with some kind of sting. It was a good effort there from Vienna Timothy, but she did have the inside run of Stella Sikorsky, who was unmarked. Bella Johnson was also in the neck of the woods there for potential rebound. Good effort, though, from Vienna Timothy. Shanna laces the ball forward. It's nodded back by Stella Sikorsky. It will be a throw in the way of Langara. Looked like it may have been a throw for the Capilano University, so I definitely do understand the protest of the head coach Kindle there. Throw from Shanna. Touchdown by Sikorsky. It'll be a throw in the way of I beg your pardon, Capilano. I believe that one actually should have gone to Langara, but here we are again. Good headed clearance there by Giovinazzo. Throw in for Langara just in front of the fourth officials bench. Good ball there from Bella Johnson to pick out Vienna Timothy. Great control as well by Timothy. She just couldn't get it to the inside of the substitute, Alessia Bellotti. Ooh, and that might be an errant ball. Can Bella Johnson reel it in? She just can't. They played around the press there, did Capilano, and Belbin comes away from the ball. Leaves it short, though, in the middle of the park, and Bella Johnson's going to get another bite at the apple here. Nutmeg there by Bella Johnson. Goes for a cross. It was a good slide tackle in the end by the substitute, number 5, Aisha Fraser. Belbin, the substitute, pokes it forward for Smith. She leaves the return ball just a bit behind Belbin, and Langara will get the ball back. A goal in these early stages of this second half would be magic for Langara, with time kind of ticking down, and you feel a third goal for Capilano might be the nail in the coffin. So Langara will definitely want to try and create something here sooner rather than later. A little bit of a cross up there between Langara's, the substitute, Chowdhury, and Vienna Timothy just crossed their wires and no one picked up the ball, and now Capilano have a serious chance to attack here. Belbin cuts to the inside, flag goes up. Belbin was offside, as it looked like she had just managed to slither her way centrally into the penalty box. Unfortunate there for the number 3 in white. Belbin evades the tackle of Bella Johnston, pokes it back to Hurtado. Looking for the central run of Maya Smith was Hurtado. The ball just had a little bit too much weight on it, and it rolls into Alexis McCauley. Good headed win there by Hurtado. Alex Paul, I beg your pardon, the number 16, under pressure, just clips it up into the air. It's one back down by Dulong. And Capilano will get the ball back, albeit temporarily. Langara just need to take a little bit of time with their passes here. They're getting the ball in good spaces. They're just rushing their passes or leaving them short, and it's letting them down in key areas, especially in transition. Unfortunately, right now they're being forced to defend after having played their way into a spot of trouble. Throw-in for Capilano. Once again, quick reminder, the doubleheader continues coming up at 2:30 as the Langara men take on the Capilano men. The kickoff there, once again, at 2:30. And post-match following this one, we're expected to have the comments of head coach Alvin Prasad. So definitely stick around for that in the post-game. Langara definitely have their work cut out for them here, but crazier things have happened, and they have shown signs that they can come to life at any given time, have Langara. Kwan, Bella Johnston puts it across. It's a good cross from Bella Johnston. Vienna Timothy was waiting for it, but her attempted roundhouse kick there was just picked out of the air. The trajectory changed just at the last second, and we're going to have a free break on net here as Maya Smith has caught out Jorgensen. Maya Smith is all alone. Backtracking run of Paul. Smith shoots right at the keeper. It's a fantastic stop. Good defense, though, from Alex Paul, who just put enough doubt in the mind of Maya Smith, who, with the offside goal she scored earlier, the legit goal she scored in the first half, and with that one could probably have 3 on the day. Unfortunately, it's just 1 that'll be on the score sheet for Smith. And again, kudos to Alex Paul, the number 16, who came darting back on a diagonal run from the left back position to just put off Smith just enough there. It looked like it was going to be a free walk on net, and of course, Alexis McCauley, the goalkeeper, came out and made herself look big, and it actually ended up being an easy stop for the keeper in orange. So, Langara making the most of their 9 lives here. A 3-0 scoreline. That might have been curtains had Smith found the back of the net. Good headed win there by Giovinazzo. Kwan wins it. Has the outlet of, I believe it was Sikorsky, who's now almost playing as a more of a winger than she is in the center of attack. Vienna Timothy has been more of the spearhead. Chowdhury behind, and Bella Johnston working on the right-hand side. Julia Payton, who's been excellent from set-piece service all game long. Just dropped that one a bit short of the 18-yard box, and Langara had an easy time defending it. And Langara has struggled today with some of the set-piece defending. Chowdhury gets a chunk of her opposite number there, and it will be a free kick taken quickly by Hurtado up the right-hand side for Dulong. Great footwork by Dulong. Now pokes it forward for Smith. Tried to play it forward again. Smith still going, sliding tackle, and that is all ball, but still kept in. Smith had a chance to pull it back to the top of the area for Dulong, and it just didn't find its intended target. Good work there by Dulong and Smith. Almost conjuring up another chance for Capilano. Of course, they have the blues on the back of their shirt, but their away strip will be all white here with a little bit of blue trim. Langara and their familiar all black. Long aerial clearance there from Alexis McCauley. It's one down by Vienna Timothy. Now played up to the left touchline for Stella Sikorsky if she can get the better of her defender. Sophie Pather, who's been first on the scene to just about every ball. It's been good defending by Sophie Pather today, and it looks like we will see a substitution here perhaps. As yes, we will. It'll be the goal scorer, Fraser, number 20, coming off. And the number 13, Ella Jennings, will come on. Good first time ball into the middle of the park. I believe that was Bellotti who managed to get that one central. Bit of a sloppy ball back. It was actually Taylor Melnick who played the clever ball inside. She's been a little bit quiet since coming on, but obviously definitely has some skill at her feet. Vienna Timothy tries to clip it over the top for Stella Sikorsky to chase. She does, but it's well defended again by Capilano. Good play by Vienna Timothy. Takes turns into Chowdhury. has Sikorsky. Sikorsky, top of the box, right-footed shot. She just kind of scuffed her effort. She hit more turf than she did ball, but there's a goalkeeper error. Oh, and Chowdhury can't put it home. It's still an open net. Cassidy Kwan, right-footed shot, and she balloons it over the bar. It was an open net. My goodness, best chance of the match there from Langara as they had 2 point-blank opportunities, one on a goalkeeper error that was put right back into the midsection of the goalkeeper, and then the subsequent scramble. Cassidy Kwan had a pretty open look there. It was from the outside of the 18, and there was a sea of bodies in the way, and she certainly went for power. And unfortunately, she just put it about 5 yards over the crossbar. Best chances, I should say, of the matchup for Langara. And you could say they probably could have won there and would have come just in time, too. 25 minutes left to go in this second half. And that might have put a bit of doubt into Capilano, who haven't looked as tidy as they have in the first half. And Langara, since moving Vienna Timothy more central and Stella Sikorsky more out wide, they've looked a little bit cleaner up front, a little bit more dangerous. Sikorsky sees the ball get away from her. She might actually get there ahead of Pather. Pather plays it off the midsection of Sikorsky, and it'll be a throw in the way of Cap. We're going to have another substitution here. It looks like Capilano. Looks like Taylor Melnick, one of the substitutes in this second half, will come off. And the number 16, Katrina Olstrom, will come on. Powerful header there by Alex Paul. It was helped on again by Chowdhury. Good ball over the top there. Alexis McCauley's going to gamble. Can she get there ahead of the substitute, Katrina Olstrom, whose first inclusion, her first figuring into the match there, was almost running down a one-on-one against Alexis McCauley. Great play from both athletes there. McCauley just getting ahead of Olstrom. It'll be a deep throw in. Chowdhury dropping deep. Long throw up the right touchline. Finds the substitute again. Katrina Olstrom. Can she get in some service? She cuts it back to her left foot. Plays a clever ball inside for Bellotti. Bellotti's now going to try and play it on the deck. She finds Hurtado. Hurtado. Great play. Belbin. Can she shoot? Oh, it's last-ditch defending. And it wasn't pretty by any stretch of the imagination. It was Bella Johnson who slid in there for a double knee tackle and just won it back. And it was just in the nick of time, and you can see Belbin, she throws her head to the heavens. She was just needing a little bit more space to unkirk her shot, but Bella Johnson flew in there and prevented a goal-scoring opportunity for sure. Excellent play there from the midfield of Langara. She's now going to swoop one up the right touchline for Vienna Timothy to try and get on the end of it. Will be a deep throw-in. As mentioned, post-game, we will be joined by Alvin Prasad, Langara head coach of the women's team, first-year head coach. Of course, he won a national championship as a player at Langara, playing with the men's team, and head coach Mark Rosardo, so definitely some good insight from him. Following the result of this match, left-footed, right-footed shot, make that from Alex Paul, who was kind of carrying away from the Capilano net, but she doesn't need any invitation to have a blast. We know a right foot, what kind of a right foot she has on her, Paul, and she just unleashed one there. Unfortunately, it was right into the waiting mitts of Megan Thitchner, who hasn't been too busy in this half outside of the double chance that almost ended up in a goal probably about 2-3 minutes ago. 20 minutes to go here in this second half. Capilano still leading Fraser, the defender, number 20 with a goal, as well as number 11, Maya Smith. Smith now on the ball. Still has tons of energy, and I don't think she's subbed off all game, Maya Smith. She has been busy as a bee and shows no signs of slowing down. Thrown for Capilano. They'll play it right inside the 18-yard box. Bellotti tried to play it back. It goes all the way for number 5, Aisha Fraser. Good one, too. Fraser still has it. Still going Fraser. Another sliding tackle from Bella Johnson, who she's coming from behind on these sliding tackles, but she's managing to win the ball from the front side, so she must know something I don't. Excellent tackling there from Bella Johnson, who's now picked herself up and made a buckling run up the other side of the park. Header there from Vienna Timothy, who actually did well to get on the inside of Julia Payton. She was just too far away from the net. Promising play there from Bella Johnson, and a good headed effort there from Vienna Timothy. Ooh, and that ball just broke favorably for Katrina Olstrom. If it wasn't for Jorgensen as the last line of defense, it might have been a real chance. Vienna Timothy now, can she get to the inside of Payton? She can't. It will be a throw-in for Capilano. Bella Johnson wins the throw-in, unfortunately back towards her own net. Giovinazzo, great win again. Shanna up the touchline, just too far out of the reach of Johnston. Fraser will have to go back and chase it, and that'll invite a little bit of a press from Langara. Can Capilano play their way out of it? They do, but only as far as Cassidy Kwan, I beg your pardon. Well, this is dangerous play as a defender had come out to chest it ahead of the keeper. Kwan had a bit more time on that first ball than I think she knew. She could have carried towards the area. Instead, she decided to smash in a ball first time. It ended up causing more problems than it probably should have, but she definitely had a little bit more time than I think she knew about on the initial play. It's going to be a deep throw-in for Shanna, the number 3 of Langara, to take. It's a long throw from Shanna right to the top of the penalty box. It's side-footed away by Bellotti. Olstrom was there trying to create something for the front 3. Good headed win there by Alex Paul over the head of the defender. Vienna Timothy's going to have a lash now on the half volley. She was kind of carrying away from the ball as well, and it kind of banana bent just away from the net, but you don't ever want to fault a striker from having a rip from that distance, especially on the half volley, and it looked like it's set up just right for Vienna Timothy. We're going to have some substitutions now, I believe, for Langara, as it looks like, I believe it's the number 8, Chaudhary, coming off. And it is. And number 5, Chase Stoddart, will come back into the game for her second spell. They've now pushed Shanna to the left wing position, left wing back position anyways, and Chase Stoddart will come over here to the right. Oh, Shanna had the ball just hop up on her and hit her in the hand as she was just getting ready to unleash a right-footed cannon. You could see her kind of breathe a bit of sigh of disbelief. But Langara will keep at it. Ball to the touchline, looking for Vienna Timothy from Bella Johnston, but would have been hard-pressed for Timothy to get there. It will be a corner kick, or I beg your pardon, a goal kick for Capilano. Just over 15 minutes time left to play with for Langara here to try and create a comeback. And they'll have to do something soon, as they'll need at least 3 to win and probably 2 to tie. Bella Johnson with a little bit of a physical tackle on the back there of Belbin, but referee doesn't notice it. Alex Paul now Right portion of the area. Can she get it across? Alex Paul does. Has the keeper, Thitchner, scrambling. It was hovering just above the goal line, and it looked like Stella Sikorsky might pop in just to make a bit of a nuisance of herself. Good play there from Alex Paul, who, if I'm the Langara coach, I might want to get her closer and closer to net. She's got a right foot that can test the keeper with a shot and is also good to tee up some service for her fellow attacking players. It's been good from Alex Paul today. Unfortunately, they just haven't managed to get the ball in the back of the net off any of her efforts. Maya Smith inside for Dulong. Olstrom cleared by Jorgensen. Throw in the way of Capilano. I believe we're going to have another substitution, this time from Capilano. It'll be number 3, Kai Belbin, coming off, and number 17, Caitlin Johnson, coming back on. Olstrom just looking to take it to the goal line, but Jorgensen, who hasn't really put a foot wrong today outside of the time Maya Smith skipped by her for a breakaway. Thankfully, that got stopped by Alexis McCauley, but Jorgensen's been pretty tidy in defense today, and she did just enough to put off Olstrom there as she was breathing down her neck along the goal line. Vienna Timothy looking for Bella Johnson. Clever ball inside for Sikorsky. Looks to help it back on for Bella Johnson. Bella Johnson, can she get beyond the last line of defense? She does, but was she tripped? Referee says yes, we're going to go to the penalty spot. Fantastic intertwining play there from Vienna Timothy and Bella Johnson. Just does enough to confuse Aisha Fraser. She clips the heels. It might have been a bit harsh because I don't think Bella Johnson was getting to that ball in the end, but it definitely was impeding her forward movement. And it will be a chance for Langara to at least draw one back here. And there's just enough time, too, if they want to go about and get a second. It looks like it will be Bella Johnson from the penalty spot. Will it be, or will it be Cassidy Kwan who's going to stand up? It will be the number 23, who she's tried her effort from range a few times here today, so we know she's got a right boot on her. She had quite the opportunity probably about 10 minutes ago with a wide-open net. Beg your pardon, musical chairs here. It's actually going to be Amber Wells, the number 20. Right-footed. Number 20, Amber Wells sizes it up. She's got her hands on her hip. Can Megan Thitchner provide some magic for Capilano? Amber Wells steps up right-footed and goes over the bar. It's so unfortunate for Langara. And Capilano are let off the hook. Easily the best chance of the match for Langara, and it's kind of been the story of their matches. They've had 2 or 3 gilt-edged chances, point blank. Look no further than the one that just was missed. And they just haven't been able to put the ball in the back of the net. Just too much steam from Amber Wells on that one. She got far too underneath it. And Thitchner didn't even have to put a touch on the ball. Still, the score remains 2-0 with about 12 minutes plus stoppage time to go here. Bella Johnson, though, she's going to try and create something again for the team in black. Alex Paul clips it around Fraser. Paul still in the penalty area. It's booted away eventually by Julia Payton. It's all hands on deck now for Capilano as Langara aren't liking the way this one is going. They want to make their mark in some shape or form on the score sheet before this day is done. The men's doubleheader coming up at 2:30. The same matchup. Langara College taking on Capilano University. Long throw in there from Chase Stoddard. Kwan. From Kwan on Fraser. Push on the back there against Kwan, and that'll be a free kick the way of Capilano. As you hear the coach down below us, Alvin Prasad, instant. He wants to see faster movement. And it has been good when they've played the 1-2 soccer, as you saw with Bella Johnson and Vienna Timothy on the lead up to that penalty kick opportunity. They weren't dwelling on the ball. They were moving it fast. They were looking for options quickly. Vienna Timothy takes turns, has a bit of a snatching shot that comes off a defender. Another clearance comes off a defender and falls to the foot of Dulong. Dulong asking for options. She plays it short to Maya Smith. She's now pressed by Chase Stoddard. A sliding tackle. Great work by Maya Smith to stay with it. And this could be a real opportunity. 4-on-3 to the left touchline for Dulong. It was just too far ahead of her. Good play, though, from Smith, Dulong, Olstrom, as well as just about peeled apart the Langara defense and made it 3-0. with about 10 minutes plus stoppage to go. But the tail of this second half has definitely been Langara spurning key opportunities, an open net for Cassidy Kwan, and also a penalty kick miss for Amber Wells. And Capilano did make quite a few substitutions at the beginning of the half, so perhaps just disrupted the rhythm ever so slightly. I want to say they made at least 3 or 4 substitutions at the top of the half. Caitlin Johnston fighting in the middle of the park. Free kick for Julia Payton to take. Ooh, that was hit with some kind of sting. It flies right into the midst of Alexis McCauley, I beg your pardon, who had to be spot on with her hold on that one because she had 3 white shirts running right at her. Ella Jennings now in a battle with Alex Paul. She loses out there. Robust play by Alex Paul. She plays fast, she plays hard, and she's got a good right foot on her. Unfortunately there, she's dispossessed by Caitlin Johnson, and that might come back to bite her. Bellotti. Smith looked to ping a right-footed ball, but then turned on a dime and switches play to the left-hand side. Dulong. Maya Smith make the inside run, but looked to be just a hair offside. Giovinazzo now a heap of bodies in the penalty box. Olstrom pushed over, and she'll get right back up as the attack continues. Hurtado. Infield for Bellotti. She's just bodied out by Alex Paul, but Caitlin Johnston at the right post has a shot off the outside of the right boot that just scuffs against the side netting. It looked like it might give Alexis McCauley more trouble than it did. Bit of an optical illusion, but Langara will be happy to see that one come off the side net and get right back into play. Bella Johnson, Cassidy Kwan tried to play it up the park early for Alex Paul. A poor clearance now sees Vienna Timothy in possession. She has Bella Johnson on the overlap. Timothy goes for a cross in the air. Loops it all the way to the back stick for Alex Paul. Just a bit out of her reach, though. She's going to keep it in play, though. Left-footed. Cuts back to her right foot. Can she put in a cross? She does. In the air for Cassidy Kwan. Header! Waiting clutches of Megan Thitchner. Well-worked play by Langara. And there's been a few of those today. They're just missing that finishing touch, that little bit of polish, which is putting it in the back of the net. Cassidy Kwan, another great opportunity. And Alex Paul have been trumpeting her praise all matchup. Another fantastic cross right on a dime for her attacking cohort. Going to see a substitution here. Maya Smith finally gets a break. She's been running around all day. Fantastic work from Maya Smith. Coming in now for Capilano University. Once again, Caitlin Chu. About 7 minutes to go here, plus stoppage time, though I can't imagine there's a ton. There hasn't been very many injuries. We have had some substitutions here, but foul just inside the Langara half against Bella Johnston, who's been pretty much the Maya Smith of her team. They've been running all day, every day. Cassidy Kwan thumps it forward. Vienna Timothy can't win it down. She had a sea of white legs. Great win again there by Cassidy Kwan, who's not afraid to stick her body in the knotty areas and kind of take a bit of a beating. She got kicked and battered and elbowed there, but still managed to come away from the ball. So great robust play there from Cassidy Kwan. Chu has options. Great rolled ball into the path of Caitlin Johnson. She's got a free look here. Can she square it up? Almost. Alexis McCauley palms it down and does just enough to keep it away from, I want to say it was Katrina Olstrom, who was right in Hell's Kitchen there. Another ball up there over the top. It comes off the post, a rebound. Cleared only as far as, my goodness, Dulong, who had to cut to her instep on her right foot to try and pop that one in. Oh, Langara definitely playing with fire there. I think I'm going to say that. Langara definitely playing with fire there. It came off the post to clearance right back to the attacking team, and Dulong, who, with her body kind of carrying away from where she wanted to put her shot, could only scoop it over the goal. Oh, it was a mad dash there, and somehow the ball stayed out of the net, and Langara will be happy for that. They're still alive here somehow. 5 minutes left to go plus stoppage. If they can get a goal here, could be quite the finish. The wind picking up here at Willoughby Field at the Langley Event Center, the host to this doubleheader today between Capilano and the host Langara. Olstrom on the dribble, cuts it back, great pass. Chu, right-footed shot, deflects off Jorgensen. Great tic-tac play there by Capilano. If it wasn't for a great block by Jorgensen, who's had to put up a few here tonight, that might have been another really good chance on net for Capilano. Substitution, Sikorsky coming out, and number 10, Penelope Sparrow, coming in. Looks like it'll be Julia Payton, who's been pretty much on all the service. Another substitution as well for Capilano as Dulong comes off. And Jessica Thaler is on. Payton, top of the area. Side foot by Olstrom, cleared twice by Shanna. Another effort, this time cleared by Jorgensen. It was another mad scramble in the penalty box. It was Olstrom who had a couple cracks in it. Both of them were charged down by Shanna, I should say. Here comes another chance for Olstrom, this time from across into the waiting minutes of Alexis McCauley, who had 2 white shirts right in her kitchen as soon as she came down with that ball. Ooh, a bit of a sloppy layoff there by Bella Johnson. Put Chase Stoddard in a bit of a tough spot, but she managed to keep it together just long enough to get some reinforcements from her fellow Langara defenders. And they keep Capilano out for the time being. Olstrom. Johnson. Johnson gets to the outside of Jorgensen. This is good from Johnson. Johnson to the back post. First time hit from Hurtado. Scoops it over the bar. Almost the exact same position that Dulong had earlier. This time it was an aerial ball, and she had to take it first time with a sea of bodies ahead of her. It's clever play again from Capilano, who themselves could have also 2 or 3 in this half. It's been a wide open game in the second half. It's just lacked the finish that was in the first half from Capilano. Still 2-0 though, with about, 3 minutes probably to go, and perhaps a bit of added time tacked on as well. Loop cross over the top. It was held on and flicked on as the broadcaster's water bottle and papers go flying everywhere. Apologies to the listening audience there. I can't imagine that was pleasurable. And it comes just as Capilano had a very good free kick set piece bit of service as well. They chipped it over the top and it flummoxed the back line of Langara. Unfortunately, I believe it was Olstrom just couldn't find the finish again. She tried to flick it first time. And I think Alexis McCauley might have had it covered, but it was going wide anyways. 2 minutes to go here. And Langara, unless they can produce some magic here in the next couple of minutes, will probably be resigned to defeat, which is a shame because they definitely had some clear chances here. Look no further than a missed penalty kick. And unfortunately, the points will have to stop with that 0-0 impressive draw against Douglas, as it looks like Capilano might take this one home here. Here's Olstrom on the dribble, taking on Jorgensen. Olstrom, right-footed, cuts to the outside. Good tackle there by Jorgensen. Olstrom keeps it alive, though. First time cross into the penalty box. Missed by Giovinazzo. Hurtado still has it, trying to open up for a shot. It's a right-footed toe poke in the end. Didn't have enough steam on it. Alexis McCauley just drops down to her right to clutch it and claim it. 30 seconds plus stoppage to go. Probably all hands on deck here for Langara as they'll just look to get the ball forward. Amber Wells. Shanna. And that'll be a foul as she was bodied over from behind just as she released that pass forward. Cassidy Kwan will come over to take the set piece. She's been fairly consistent with them today. It's a right-footed in-swinger. She got it into the penalty box. Giovinazzo was the closest to it, but she couldn't beat Peyton to the header. And now it's a 2-on-1 opportunity. Olstrom, backtracking run of True. Olstrom's going to try and go it herself. Great defending there by Stoddard. Excellent defending there by Stoddard, who had she not managed to intercept that, that was going to be a clear run on net for either Olstrom or Caitlin Chu. She had to come across the width of the park to do that as well, did Stoddard, so good positional awareness as well. Kwan pivots, plays it to her right for Bella Johnson, who rolls her player, Thaler, into the path of Alex Paul, tries to get around the outside of Fraser. Fraser thought about putting in a slide tackle, but then will delicately toe poke it out. Alex Paul, we're into the 90th minute now. I haven't seen a LED board with any stoppage time, but I can't imagine a ton here as there weren't any injuries, but there were enough substitutions in the half, that was for sure. Stoddard to Johnson. Into the area. Timothy helps it on. Penelope Sparrow tried to hook it back, but just couldn't get the proper purchase on it, and it goes out the far side. It'll be a throw-in for Capilano right by their corner flag and the delicious-looking concession stand, which is definitely calling my name for this second game. As mentioned, the 2:30 matchup, Capilano U men versus the Langara College men. But we will also be joined by Alvin Prasad here, the head coach of the Langara women's team, shortly following the handshakes at full time here, just to discuss the result here today. And what do you think what needs to happen for his squad moving forward to get some positive results in the win column? Bella Johnson. And there is the full-time whistle. Capilano University get the clean sheet. It's a 2-0 result. The goals from number 20 in defense, Maya Fraser, as well as number 11, Maya Smith, who also had one called back on the offside. Had a clear chance as well to put it away. The Langara women, they put up a valiant fight, though. Chances from Sikorsky, Beaubien, Cassidy Kwan, and, of course, an unfortunate missed penalty from Amber Wells. Probably the best chance of the match for Langara after some excellent play between Bella Johnson and Vienna Timothy. Unfortunately, it was kind of the tail of the game for Langara. They just missed out on their big opportunities. They kept it. They kept themselves in the game for the full 90. They were never out of it, and the 2-0 scoreline is a little bit less flattering than I'm sure they would have wanted, but if you saw this game take place, there was no way Langara was played off the park here by any stretch of the imagination. It was just a matter of, as soccer tends to go sometime, managing of big moments, and they missed their penalty, and unfortunately Capilano managed to take their opportunities. So the final score, 2-0 for the visiting Cap U. We are going to rag the puck here just ever so slightly as we wait for Alvin Prasad to make the long haul up the stands here at Willoughby Field. It is quite the jog, let's put it that way. It feels like you're going up a 4-story hotel kind of like stairwell area, but it's actually only really like one story. It's just a lot of stairs to get up here. So Alvin Prasad we're going to put him through his paces. He's going to have burning hammies, burning quads. He's going to have to go for Gatorade and orange slices, just like the ladies after this affair. We're going to see the handshakes just down below, but a good effort from both squads here today. As mentioned, fairly even matchup. It was just a tale of being clinical with chances. And Capilano were good at that in the first half. Had chances in the second half, Capilano did. They couldn't put them away through a mixture of good defending by Langara and just not being as clinical as they were in the first half. But Langara, definitely stuff to build off here. We spoke with Jeremy Holland in the pre-match, the assistant coach, and he said, you know, it is a young squad. This is a rookie squad, and we're still kind of finding our way and finding what works for us, and we don't want to put too much on the plates of the young players. Last thing you want to do is get worn out playing the game you love just because you're not having a good time out there. So definitely stuff to work on for Alvin Prasad, Jeremy Holland, but definitely lots of positives to take from this. Definitely lots of positive, lots of building blocks, and lots of meat on the bone for sure there as the men now will make their way to the park. 2:30 the kickoff there between Capilano and the men's team. So we'll have about 45 minutes to get a quick break in. Our media man on the scene, Sean Shook, just down at field level. I can see him corralling Alvin Prasad, and he'll take him for the long haul up to the broadcast booth. If I'm handing out a player of the match for both squads, for me, for Capilano University, it's probably Maya Smith. I think you can also give a nod to Alana Dulong and Julia Payton as well. But Maya Smith almost played the full 90. I think she played like 85 minutes, and she did not stop running. She was a woman possessed out there. So my man of the match, woman of the match, I should say, definitely Maya Smith for Capilano University. On the flip side, for Langara women, I definitely liked what Bella Johnston brought to the table. Amber Wells as well. Quinnell Shanna. Stella Sikorsky had chances. Alex Paul. Cassidy Kwan. Kaylee Beaubien. Tough to narrow down just one. I might go Bella Johnson just because, as I mentioned, she was kind of the Maya Smith of her group. She just kept running and was creating chances all day. And it was a valiant effort from the Langara women here in an unfortunate 2-0 result. We now welcome in the head coach from the Langara women, Mr. Alvin Prasad. Just going to pop the headset on him here, Mr. Prasad. An unfortunate result here, but I was kind of just saying, looking at the score sheet, 2-0, it was a closer game than that scoreline suggests, doesn't it? Because you guys definitely had your chances. An unfortunate missed penalty kick. How do you sum up the match here from the coach's bench?
Yep, pretty much what you saw. I think closer than maybe the scoreline. The girls worked hard. An early goal kind of puts you against it right from the get-go. So, we'll come back when we play them again. Hopefully we reset and come back with something different.
We were talking with assistant coach Jeremy Holland just before this one, and he was saying, you know what, we are still a young team and we are still kind of finding our way, but I thought you guys had a lot of positives to build off of. I was just kind of while you were on your way up here, I was just kind of laying out my woman of the match candidates, and I had for your squad, and I had at least 6. I thought Bella Johnson for me was probably the one because she was buzzing. She was always creating things. She was busy. She wasn't shying away from the tackle, whether it was trying to break up a breakaway or whatever. But I thought there was so much positive to build out there for you. What are some things that excite you about this squad and these young players?
For sure, yeah. Bella had a great game. On both sides of the ball. Those are the things that I'm looking for all players, just having that bit of grit and want, and I'm starting to see it from all the players. Excited about it. We do have a lot of young players, but the mindset, we're working on that, and they're getting there. Every time we play a match is some sort of improvement, so that's a good thing. We'll see what happens next week.
And from your playing days, Alvin Prasad, by the way, joining us, head coach of the Langara women's squad here, from your playing days, soccer is one of those cruel games where it's about big moments and stuff like that, and you don't want to try and put too much on the plate of the players, but how do you coach, taking those big moments, whether it be a penalty kick or perhaps a big save or something like that? And I know sometimes it's just experience and getting games under your belt, but what can you do as a coach to kind of help that along?
Yeah, I think it's those experiences of just playing the game. Definitely, if someone is going to step up and take one of the spotters, it's a mindset. And so if you have, the right attitude, what it is that's required to execute at that point. You go out there, you do your thing, and then, hopefully, it didn't work out for us today in the PK, but, next time I'm sure that she'd bang that goal for sure.
Last question for me before we send you back to the locker room with the ladies. What are some key things that you want to work on? Perhaps not mentally wise, but perhaps on tactically wise in the park, looking forward to future games.
Oh, I just think, in the final third, we could do a much better job. I think we created. The execution wasn't there today. We had probably 7-8 chances where we got through. Now, can we finish 1 or 2 of those, and then it's a completely different game.
Coach Alvin Prasad, thank you so much for your time, and best of luck moving forward, sir.
Yes.
All the best. Alvin Prasad there joins us post-game following an unfortunate 2-0 loss for the Langara women. The goals from Capilano University from Maya Smith and Maya Fraser. As mentioned, we do have the doubleheader coming up here, 2:30 for the men's squad. It will be another rematch. Capilano University taking on the Langara men. Mark Rosardo, the head coach there, will be joined by their assistant for some pre-match banter, and we'll also get the thoughts post-match as well. But you heard it, 2-0 the final. Capilano women take the first of the doubleheader. The men's coming up at 2:30. We'll join you then. See you and talk then.